any of those. But by the time we're done, like when I'm done with the assignment, I have an address for www.thegumbybear.com, and it goes to whatever it is, 1.1.1.1, or 144.38, whatever it is. And then I'll have another domain called fred.it. And I might have a www over here that also goes to 1.1.1.1. Is that possible? Can I do that?
Yeah.
That's totally possible. And if these are both going to a web server that I've set up, I can configure a virtual host such that when someone visits www.thegumbybear.com, it'll load, it'll go to this server and load that page. Versus if they type in www.fred.itcit.edu, it will also go back to the same server, but it'll load a different page because I've configured a separate virtual host for it. So anyway, that being said, in your zone file for DNS Simple 2, I don't care what the IP addresses are, except for ns1.fred and ns2.fred, they have to be the IP addresses of your master and slave. The other four, or whatever 4 IP lookups, could be anything. You can set up whatever. db.it.cit.dix.edu and have it mapped to this address. You can have it mapped to some address that you own. You can have it mapped to your neighbor's address. Does that help?
A little bit.
You want me to look at anything else?
I somehow managed to break my MDMS when I went back to fix the caching. I was trying to change the network configurations file. It was in the instructions, but it turns out that there's something with, it was using a different network setup.
Okay.
So I switched it back over and it broke. So I think I need to go back in there and put back in the configurations.
Were you editing Etsy network interfaces
Yeah.
instead of Etsy net plan something?
Yeah, I don't know why I was doing that. I'll fix it, I guess.
That's not the problem. The other thing that some of you, I think 2 or 3 students asked me last time is they said, my master is working, my slave isn't on this DNS lookup. Don't forget to do, I said go into this file and add a -4. And that's in the assignment instructions. You have to do it on both the master and the slave, or else you get erratic behavior. Yeah. Okay, does anyone want me to troubleshoot or debug anything? I can log in, take a look. Yeah.
For some reason I can't ping my database in sys
Okay.
I can troubleshoot it all myself.
Well, let's take a look real quick. So let me log into your name server 1. What is the IP or?
144.38.206.201.
So, and this is for like, never mind. This is what you're using, your kmartin.codes. And so like sys resources.
Yeah, sys file sys and I can't ping those.
Okay, but you can ping the rest.
I need the rest.
Okay, so if I do dig out localhost db.kmartin.codes, give me an A record for it. And is that the right address that we should have?
200, yeah.
Sys resources. How long ago did you test it? Or I mean, did you make any changes recently?
I kind of did.
Because it looks like it's running.
The only thing I changed my net plan stuff, but that shouldn't have anything to do with it.
No?
Are you pinging or digging?
Yeah, looks like it's working. So what are you doing
So
that's failing?
I'm trying to,
Are you doing it from one of your client machines?
I'm just doing it from anywhere. Like, can you like, just get out of that and just try pinging it?
db.kmartin. Yeah. It's going. So maybe if you just made a change, or if you restarted bind recently, Maybe that's it?
I'm doing the resources one, and it says I can't ping my resources in, so it's not gonna be able to test it.
Sys resources like that? Oh, that I can't ping it. That my script can't ping it? Is that what it's saying?
Yeah, see, I'm trying to ping it just from my laptop right now, and it's not working. With the request timeout.
Oh. So then that's the next, okay. So I'm digging at your name server and it's fine, but then if I dig at Google's name server, it says no error about, oh, it did say that. One more. Is your slave 202?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's looking like it works okay. So if there's any changes made in the last hour or two, maybe they just haven't propagated through the DNS hierarchy?
I can ping my NS1 just fine, but when I try pinging that, it's still not working.
Oh, well, wait, from your laptop. You won't be able to ping anything from your laptop because there's a firewall that doesn't allow you to ping. It might do a name server lookup, but pings won't be able to get through. But if you log into ssh.cs.dixie.edu, you should be able to ping. Yeah. Maybe that's the issue. Anyone else want me to look at something?
We'll see if
Did it ping on SSH?
yeah, I did.
Okay, yeah.
So we can, I'm pretty sure this answer is gonna be yes, but we could ignore the, inode hog and file
Yeah.
IO hog, this hog.
For now, yep. Yep.
So for the, what was the assignment? The DNS lookup server, on the out that I got from the auto grader,
Uh-huh.
it was saying that there should be at least 7 posts in the input file and only found 4.
I'm sorry, that's true. On mine, I only have 4, I should have listed all 7.
Okay, so go ahead,
List your system resources, DB, and
Okay.
file systems. Or
just on the text.
on the submission file, yeah.
Okay, cool. I didn't know if that was inside of bind that it was messing that up or just on the,
Just on the submission.
Okay.
So all 7 there. Anyone else? Problems? Troubleshooting? So I think last time we finished looking through this SMTP client configuration, if I remember. We looked at Thunderbird, how to configure Thunderbird, how to test, send and receive a mail message with Thunderbird. Did we finish all that? Looks familiar to me. So, okay, we're switching gear again then. Unless there's any questions on that. I'm okay answering questions.
People are working on stuff that they don't have questions right now.
Yeah.
So we're just going on.
So, our let me just, I don't know if we looked at the assignment real quick. Let's try that. So, you're supposed to basically follow the slides, install dovecot IMAP-D, so we can do IMAP access. Also install Python minimal, if you haven't already. You should have for an earlier assignment. Only the IMAP-S port should be used for communication for this part. You're going to configure XM4 to allow users to authenticate from remote sites and send outgoing email using our SASL configuration and using the XM4 daemon heavy. We did all that. Anyway, there were some screenshots there, and there's no way I can recreate that from scratch. I always have to look at those particular slides to do that one. And that's okay. Now configure remote email clients. You're going to configure 2 distinct email client software packages. You can do Thunderbird, you can do Evolution is another one. You can use Mail program on your Mac or on your phone or whatever, just a second email client package. For pass-off purposes, collect a screenshot of each system to demonstrate its functioning correctly. You should capture the system reading messages and sending messages. So, oh, yes, there is a submission file, but you also have 4 screen captures. And just upload those in that same location. So my auto grader is basically all it's going to do is just make sure email is still sending and receiving correctly. But which it needs to be, but I'm just gonna go, and I'm gonna go also look at these screen captures to make sure your client, that you can demonstrate with that client, you're able to connect, send, receive.